And now, making his way to the podcast studio all the way from Sacramento, California, he eats, sleeps, and breathes pro wrestling. He is the best self-proclaimed pro wrestling analyst in the world. Wrestling is still real to him, and he is here to keep good wrestling alive. He is the host of Snug Wrestling Podcast, the one, the only Edgar Avila.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome back again to Snug Wrestling. Like always, I am your host. My name is Edgar. Hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. I know I am, not just because of wrestling. I woke up in a very generous and giving mood today that I decided to give away some free shit. And I'm trying to do this giveaway to say thank you to everyone that's been tuning in and everyone that's been listening and riding with me so far. And I want to pick someone and send them something cool. Usually these giveaways, they ask for a million things, like you have to like, you have to share, you have to do this, you have to do that, and it's all to gain new followers. Now, I'm not against getting new followers. I'll worry about that later. For now, I want to worry about the followers that I already have. So with that being said, I did post some of the things that I'm willing to part with on my socials. Check it out at Snug Wrestling. And the instructions are quite simple, a lot simpler, I think, than the usual giveaways. Just leave me a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, and then screenshot your review and send it to me so I know who it's from and where it's coming from and who it is. The email is on my podcast page. It's on my Twitter. The email is snugwrestlingpod@gmail.com. And that's pretty much it. This stuff that I'm giving away, it's all legit stuff. I personally met the wrestlers myself and got them autographs. So this is the real deal. I even have pictures with them from the day of the signings and everything. So you don't have to worry about getting some fake shit. This is legit. So if you're interested, please follow those instructions. And it would make me really happy to make someone else happy, another wrestling fan. So be sure to hit me up at Snug Wrestling. And let's get this going. Today we had the Great American Bash. This is NXT. We had debuts. We had a great main event. We had hardcore matches. We had all kinds of stuff on the show. So let's break this thing down, shall we? The kickoff match was the mixed 8-person tag match. So it's a 4 versus 4. There's a reason why they started off with this match at the kickoff. This match was high energy, fast paced, high flying, and this is just to get the crowd excited for the show. And I think it did its job. This actually didn't even feel like a mixed tag match. The girls in this match, all 4 of them, really held their own. And when it comes to women's wrestling, and if we're going to compare, because I do that a lot, NXT has AEW beat in that division. I'm one of those guys that believes that WWE has the better women's division. Now, I'm not anti-AEW or pro-WWE. I just speak it how it is. And right now, I think the women's division in WWE is just better. So Dragon Lee and his team, they ended up getting the win here, but I didn't really have high expectations for this match, but I was kind of impressed by it. So not a bad way to start this Great American Bash. Up next, we had the NXT Tag Team Champions, The Family versus Gallus. And this was also a pretty good tag team match. It was intense. It started off hard hitting, and these guys were fired up. Gallus, they tried to cheat, but they get caught. Coffee tries to get involved and hit The Family with look like a smaller bat or some type of weapon, but it backfires. The Family takes out Coffee, and The Family gets the win. So we have new NXT Tag Team Champions. So far, I'm 2 for 0 in my prediction episode of American Bash. I guess Dragon Lee was going to win and his team, and also that we were going to have new NXT champions. Humble brag, humble brag. So the story here with Tony D'Angelo, he went to prison, right? He got snitched out. He did some time in storyline, of course. So this match was personal. This match meant a lot more than just the NXT tag team titles, but these two just had a regular tag team match. Wasn't nothing crazy like a ladder match. It wasn't a no DQ match or, some crazy stipulation. And they had a good match, new champions, and everything's good with the world. If this were AEW with a story like that, who knows what type of match these guys would be having. Speaking of, we have Roxanne Perez versus Blair Davenport in a no DQ match. What the fuck? Why? These girls, I've seen them brawl a couple times here and there at the convenience store. They had a little brawl before the Great American Bash at like an interview. But I'm missing something here. Why are these girls having a no DQ match with weapons and all kinds of shit? Whatever it is, it must be some serious shit because these girls beat the fuck out of each other with chairs, tables, cowbells, and all types of shit. And Roxanne, I got a lot of love for her because she follows me on Twitter, but she's hecka short. She's short. When she hits the ropes, she bounces off the second rope, which is kind of unusual to see. Roxanne ends up winning this match, but this was kind of hard to see. The debut match of Gable Stevenson, and he's facing the wrestling god himself, Baron Corbin. And Gable, oh man, he was off to a rough start here in this match. Baron Corbin was feeding Chad Gable, and there was a couple times where Gable wasn't sure if he was going to punch Baron Corbin or grab him for a suplex, and they were kind of just standing in front of each other awkwardly for a little bit, like, okay, what are you going to do next? What's going on? What are we doing? And they did some other things that were kind of weird to me. Like, I've never seen these things before. For example, they were bouncing each other's head off the top rope, not the turnbuckle, but the top rope. I don't know what the point of that was. And this match ended on a count out. They took the match outside of the ring and things got out of hand. They got into a brawl and the ref counted them out. So the match basically turned into a fight. Chad Gable did not win his debut match, which is weird because there was a lot of hype for this guy. They put in a lot of work to promote him, to put him over. They made this big deal about him, and this is his first match, but he gets counted out. Not really how these debuts usually go, but it looks like this is going to lead to another match versus Baron Corbin. The feud continues here between Gable Stevenson and Baron Corbin. For the North American Championship, Dom versus Wesley versus Mustafa. And okay, first of all, I'd like to point out, Dom is my hero sign in the crowd. Same as fuck, bro. Dom is all of our heroes. So the match starts off, Wes and Ali take out Dominic together. So now that Dominic is out of the picture, Mustafa Ali and Wesley, they can have their choreographed spots. But then thankfully Dom comes in and takes them to wrestling school. But Mustafa and Wes, they keep working together, not as a team, but just to take out Dominic Mysterio. And then Mustafa Ali tries to go for a 540 splash on the apron and misses. Big bump. Mustafa sold it really well, so he's out of the match for the time being. And it turns into a 1-versus-1 Wes and Dom now. Rhea Ripley gets involved and Rhea slams Wesley on the announcer's table. And I'm thinking, where's the ref? But then the announcer says, it's no DQ. It's a 3-way match. And I'm like, God damn. All right. But how fucking badass is Rhea Ripley? She's like twice as big as Wesley, and she just manhandled him. So Wesley eats the table by the riptide, gets in the ring. Dom hits him with the belt, but Wesley still kicks out. And I'm like, what the hell? That's not the finish. Then Mustafa comes, hits a 540 on Wesley. Rhea gets involved again, and then Dom retains the title with the most electrifying frog splash in WWE. So Dominic Mysterio defeats Mustafa Ali and Wesley here to retain. Thankfully, as he should, because he's like 3-0 now, 4-0, 4 matches in a row, I believe, that Dom has won. So my boy Dom, he's on a good run. Tiffany Stratton versus Thea Hale in a submission match. Finally, a stipulation that makes sense in a wrestling match. And Stratton, man, she's the future, I think. Right now, she's really good, but I can't wait to see what she does in the future. They had some weird spots here where the execution was a little off. They did a superplex spot from the top rope, and it took Stratton a while to get her balance, and that was kind of scary to watch. Stratton is a lot bigger than Thea, and it was just awkward seeing them up there, and I was getting kind of paranoid, but luckily nothing too bad happened there. Thea Hale had Stratton in a submission. Stratton grabs the ropes and then Thea lets go, which is weird because there's no rope breaks in a submission match. Tiffany Stratton ends up winning because they had to throw the towel in. Tiffany had Thea Hale in a Boston Crab and Thea did not tap out, so we had a controversial finish here. So the story will most likely continue here between Tiffany and Thea. And the main event, Ilja Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. Little side note here, you can see Ilja and Hayes making their way to the ring, and there's a little bit of suspense music playing in the background, which I thought was great. It builds up a little bit more anticipation. This is the main event. These are your important top guys. So nice little touch there, and man, how good is Ilja Dragunov? Like seriously, I've seen maybe like 3 matches from Ilja. All of them fucking great. I'm officially a Ilja Dragunov mark. Like I don't know how else to say it. This guy, he's a lot smaller, but he reminds me of like a Gunther. Just a total badass in the ring, believable, sells great. This guy's fucking amazing. And the match felt like it was a real competition. It was mostly Carmelo fighting from underneath. Dragunov was in control most of the time. And some of the stuff I saw in this match I've never seen before. For example, a superplex was countered into a cutter from the top rope. I mean, just picture it. Try to imagine that in your head. Like, how is that even possible? Well, they did it in this match, and if you didn't see it, you should definitely go back and watch it. The crowd gives these two guys a standing ovation. Well deserved, too, because goddamn. Carmelo Hayes ends up retaining here. No shame in Dragunov's game. Both of these guys came out looking really good. So when it comes to NXT, this reminds me a lot of like in actual sports. For example, the NBA. You have your top team in the NBA, your top players, but sometimes the guys that are in the D League, those guys, they play harder, they play better, they're more entertaining to watch. They give it their all because they're trying to make a name for themselves. They're trying to grow. They're trying to get noticed. So I think that's why these NXT matches stand out a lot, because these guys, they're just getting started. And Dragunov and Carmelo Hayes here, they gave it their all, and it was really fucking exciting to see. And it wasn't just like the crowd was giving them standing ovation or cheering for them because of how high the spot they did or how dangerous they did a spot or because they broke tables. It wasn't anything like that. They got a standing ovation because the crowd believed what was happening in the ring. They believed that these guys were giving it their all and trying their best, and they wanted to win. So my hats goes off to this main event, and that's what I got from this Great American Bash. Tell me what you guys think about it. Let me know at Snug Wrestling, and we'll talk soon.